Well, I guess a good example is like our Constitution can be printed on 7 pages of standard paper. And we have this healthcare bill that just passed. It was 2,200 pages. Shouldn't we look at bills that are a little more simplistic or a little bit more direct and maybe separate things so people can take the time to read these bills?
Well, you can lump the health care bill all together, that's fine, but do you really need 10 pounds of paper? Use a little common sense. I've got a health care bill that I planned, and I only used 1 sheet of paper. And they could do the same thing. The trouble is they gotta pay back all these groups and everybody else that donated to them. So everybody's got to get their own little piece of that pie.
So you're talking about lobbyists?
The lobbyists, the special interest groups.
Special interests.
You need to get rid of them.
Well, let me ask you, would you be in favor of a law that would eliminate the practice of lobbying?
Oh, sure. I would do away with the lobbyists. I'd do away with the special interest groups. You know, if you want to participate in your government, that's fine. You are the one that should let your congressman or your senator or whoever it is know what you feel and what you want. I don't think it should be done by special interest groups, because I got the feeling that, and I know because I've wrote the congressmen and senators a letter, and I've got the feeling that, you know, they want your vote, they don't want your opinion. They could care less about your opinion. You could keep that one to yourself. But after they check with their lobbyists and their special interest groups that support them, then they'll let you know what you want and how they're going to vote on it.
So you would be in favor of eliminating all lobbying groups?
All lobbying groups would be gone.
Okay. And that would, of course, mean that if when you retire, you couldn't become a lobby group into a lobby group like many do, because
that's
there'd be no such thing.
That's right.
Okay. Do you believe in the Second Amendment guarantees the right for law-abiding citizens to carry guns?
Well, it says that we have that right, and it says that right is for state protections. Now, I like the way people throw in law-abiding citizen, because I've got a little quirk with that. I see nothing in that article or nothing in the Constitution that says if you committed a crime, you don't get a gun. You know, cheating on your income taxes is a felony, which would knock you out of owning a gun. Underneath the state laws of Illinois, a DUI could prevent you from having a gun. An alcohol-related incident can do it. You and your wife had an argument, or you and your girlfriend, and, oh, well, he hit me. Well, you lose your right for a gun.
So at what point would you lose? And it sounds like you're in favor of universal gun rights, but it also sounds like at some point there's got to be where someone loses that right, or no?
Well, I don't think you'd have to lose the right. I think what it does, there's nothing in the Constitution that says you can't do a ballistics test on a weapon before you sell it to somebody. There's nothing in there that says that you can't do the microstamping of the ammunition. I know if I went out and I bought a gun like that and they ballistic tested, I don't think I would go out and hold somebody up with it.
You're smarter than
you know, maybe now, you know. And besides that, most criminals ain't going to get a gun legally. You know, I've hunted most of my life until recently, but there is some things in there, like I said, you have the right to have a gun and a firearm, but there's nothing saying that we can't. And it would help too if it gets stolen. You know, you've already got a ballistic test done on it. You already got the ammo stamped. If it's used in a crime and they pull it up, well, then they got your gun back.
Okay. Do you believe it is right for taxpayers to fund practices that they may find morally offensive?
Well, as long as they're constitutional, because there's some stuff that you're raised different than I am, and I was raised different than your father or your wife, and each of us have our own moral beliefs as well as religious beliefs. But if the Constitution says it's correct, whether you like it or not, yes, it should be funded.
Well, let's get specific then. You know, I think that question refers to abortion.
The abortion, that's exactly what it refers to.
And so I guess the question would be is where in the Constitution does it give a person a right to have an abortion?
Well, I believe Roe versus Wade was the one, and they say it was under the Privacy Act, I believe, is basically what Roe v. Wade did, and they also was talking about the the cost of it. I remember. I know, and that would be one of them that I might not like it, but I still believe it's up to the person. It's up to the individual.
So you think that if the Supreme Court holds something up constitutional or unconstitutional, that is the law of the land?
Well,
because of course things can change depending on who's appointed to
the Supreme Court is so political. That's why I said they should be all judges should be drawn on a lottery, served X amount of years, and then sent out.
So you believe judges should be a lottery system?
Lottery system and term limits.
Okay.
And as far as the Supreme Court, now I don't understand this, because the Right to Life groups have spent millions and millions of dollars on certain parties and certain candidates, but yet there has never been a national vote on abortion. Why not? Put it on the ballot, let the people decide what they want. It says the majority rules.
So you're
Give us the chance.
You're in favor of a democratic process in that regard,
Yes,
then?
I'm in favor of it.
Okay. Do you support term limits? Sounds like you
Yes.
do, because you just said.
Yes, I do.
So what's your pledge? How long would you serve for if elected?
Well, what I'd like to do is I would do 2 terms underneath the 2 years deal. But I would like to change it where a congressman serves 4 years on 1 term, and that your Senate serves 4 years, break it down from 6 to 4. Let them serve 2 terms elected and 1 term if they fill a vacant position, no matter if it's 30 days or 6 months or 3.5 years. The president serves 2 elected, 1 appointed if it's under 2 years, is I believe what it says. And for the ones that say it's unconstitutional, if it's constitutional for the president, it should be constitutional for anyone else.
So the difference between a senator and a congressman, one gets 2 years and one gets 4. Would you put it at years or terms?
Well, I'd put it all at 4 years and give them 2 terms. Your congressman serves 2 years. Your senator serves 6 years. What we would do is, if we move them both to 4 years and make them the same, is you would elect half of the Congress and half of the Senate one time, and the next time you'd elect the other.
Okay. Do you support a law that will require a constitutional justification for every bill in the actual bill? In other words...
Yes.
Okay.
When I was a young kid and in school, our teacher told us that, basically every bill was looked at by the Supreme Court. Well, that's not necessarily true. And if the bill affects you and you have to fight it, you could spend millions of dollars taking this law to court to be found out it's unconstitutional. Mm-hmm. I don't think there should be a bill signed that isn't constitutional. So
you believe the court should be actively involved in the legislation to be kind of like a consultant to say, this is constitutional, this is before they pass the bill?
Right, I believe, or even if they pass the bill, they need to look at it, give them time to look at it and say, hey, this part of the bill is fine, this part could be unconstitutional, and then change it. And if it doesn't do right, where you have to change the Constitution, then it's up to the people.
Okay. Well, that finishes most of the questions. The last one is going to be a chance for you to look in the camera and tell people why they should vote for you and what your qualifications are, Roger.
Well, I've always wondered, when somebody asks you what your qualifications are, one is, I can think. I got different ideals and different opinions than some of them. And I hope that they're good ones. To me, the guy that doesn't have a clue is the one that says, well, I'm qualified because I got a certain degree and certain education and I've done this. That doesn't mean you're qualified because you did good in business. I hope that they look at the suggestions that I have, and if they like them, I'd like their vote.
Well, thank you, Roger. We appreciate your time, and you'll be able to see this on YouTube, and you'll be at the Education Forum later this month. Thank you.
Thank you.